Okay, we should be live now. Let me turn down the background music because that's something I always forget to do. Normally, Steve's the one who would jump in and say that, but I haven't seen Steve announce his presence in the chat yet.
That's Steve.
Yeah, mysterious Steve. So, what are we talking about today? Today we're talking about the winners of the pitch contest, which is very exciting for me. I don't know. How are you feeling, Alex? Are you excited?
I got a little bit of a headache, you know. The room's rather hot for some reason too, so yeah. You know.
It was a bit of a random heat wave, right?
Yeah.
Because it's been cold for the past several days, and then today it's definitely warmed up quite a bit.
So I'll be honest. Darren keeps messaging me, asking me if he won over and over again, and I'm like, oh, I can't spoil it for you.
Not on Patreon yet, eh? Not on Patreon. Oh, well, this is going to be a very interesting live stream for you then. Yeah, so I'm excited to get into this. Before we jump into this, I think there's so much that's going to be happening over the next little while, and I'm really excited for everyone who comes and watches these live streams, because we're going to be talking about some really cool things, I think, over the next 4 live streams, and we'll describe more of what we're talking about at the end, but I just want to get you to hype up. The other thing, as we were talking about it, and you mentioned headaches, we've done 2 pitch contests now. There are a lot more work than I thought they were going to be, eh?
Yeah, for sure.
And the crazy thing for me is that you did most of the work. And I'm still complaining about it. I am so grateful of having you on the team and being able to offload a lot of this work to you. No, I was really excited. I think Encased in Stone, that was a really cool contest. Having all those ideas come out and then just having that one winner was really cool, a really great experience. This time around, it definitely had a different energy to it. The idea that there were so many people who were participating, so many ideas we had to go through, and then narrowing it down to 6 winners. I think that was really, really crazy.
I won't do it again.
Yeah, no. And it definitely didn't go the way we expected it to either. There were a lot of interesting outcomes. So if you go to the website, we still have the top 5 up. Oh wow, I'm watching the stream on YouTube. It's so far behind. Like, it's just doing the intro video now. So anyone who's watching on YouTube, I'm so sorry for you. Come join us on Facebook. I'm sure the stream's a little bit quicker on Facebook.
It's a lot quicker.
So let me throw this up. I'll be transitioning between these 2 screens where either I'll zoom into our lovely faces or I'll be showing what I have on my desktop. But on the website, we still have all the top 30 options, and you can go through them or read through them. I think there were a lot of really, really clever ideas, and I'm happy for the 30 that were there. But I think it's time to just jump into it and talk about the winners for each one. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Yeah? All right, let's start with Jay Lara. So the choices were between Pixie and Divine Blast of Antioch. Is there anything you want to say before we say who the official winner is?
Before we say who the official winner is, see, well, Darren's watching, so we should just, skip this one to the end. We don't have to do this one first, We can just ignore it.
We're already here. Let's commit. We're already here.
No, I don't think. I'm trying to think of things to say without spoils. No, we're good to say it and then talk about it.
I think something that's really special to me here is that I came up with the idea of the tiny mechanic just randomly. It was actually something we had in mind way back when I first pitched the concept of aerial, and then it's like, oh, you have things that are flying. You can have really tall things, which take just say extra damage from range attacks or something like that. And you can have really, really small things. And how would that play on the board? And love the idea that someone took that mechanic and made it something really unique and really awesome. So that was really cool. And then Divine Blast, just that amazing idea of like constantly reiterating on your ideas, pitching them, making them stronger. So to both of these contestants, a great job. Let's show who the winner is. It's Pixie.
It's Pixie.
We say that with a sigh. No, I'm excited that Pixie won this. Because summons are really interesting to design and work with, and I think this one, when it hits Future League and starts seeing some playtesting, this is very quickly gonna be polarized. Some people are gonna hate this card so much, and some people are gonna love it till the end. So that's what you want to have. You want to have cards that polarize your players.
For those who weren't part of Future League when the tiny mechanic was out, huge polarization when it first came down. Half the people screaming it's broken. You usually don't hear the other half that doesn't say it's not broken, but just half the people screaming it's broken, and then it did nothing. It was fine. At the end of the day, yep. I have no problem with the tiny mechanic. When I talk about the card that won, where I do see we might see the change is with this is it stun or paralyze on it? It's gotta be stun, right?
It's stuns.
Yeah, that one though we'll see how that goes, because if you're part of Future League, you know how stun has been being adjusted here and there.
Stun lock,
but otherwise,
is definitely a big issue.
Yeah, stun lock exactly. Talking to some of the other Future Leaguers, to learn about why they like Pixie so much, they said they really liked the thought of a summon that could be in your spot to help protect you.
Yeah, and I think one of the also very beautiful things about the tiny mechanic is that a lot of times your opponent will forget that it doesn't occupy the spot it's on, so they will not think about moving on to the spot where Pixie is, and that will give you tactical advantage. Yep. If you can play off of your opponent's ignorance, I mean, that's just a lot of value add right there. I think Tiny's gonna be a cool mechanic. One of the areas where I'm most concerned is that 3 health. I do get that 3 health does stabilize the summon a lot, especially at 6 chi slot where we'd rather see 4 health. So already it's going down to 3. And it does get hit by the classic AoE Tsunami, which is, I mean, that's fine. I think this is going to be one of those cards that new players are going to struggle with a lot. And it's kind of like Aerial in a lot of ways, where it may get some players a bit hesitant to jump into the game. But at the same time, I think Tsunami knocks it out. And then there are going to be some cool stuff that are coming out in Origins. Bust out those Chain Lightnings. Those will help you too. Oh, wait, no, this can't be targeted.
It can't be targeted.
Ah, darn. So what do you have? Tsunami? You got Meteorite. You got Demon's Rage. Bolt Shot.
Pretty much Rain of Arrows.
Rain of Arrows, yeah.
All the AoEs that are 3 damage and above. Which are all the AoEs that are played, pretty much.
Yeah. Jeffrey, I'm so sorry. He says, how come the one time I'm late, you guys start on time? It's just bad luck. The thing is, so Alex and I usually get prepped for these half an hour in advance, and about 5 minutes to presentation, we're just kind of sitting there like, all right, it's not enough time to go work on something else, but too much time to not sit around awkwardly. So I think we just enjoy sitting around awkwardly sometimes. It's a sign of a good friendship when you can just sit around awkwardly and almost not feel awkward about it.
For sure.
All right, so let's jump into Bellum.
Yep. Let's move on
to
Bellum.
So the two that it was between was Tornado and Frontline Healer.
Yeah.
This is a really interesting space. I think when we announced these, this was Frontline Healer was something that you and I there were a lot of attributes about it that we were excited about.
For sure.
And we talked about it a lot. And then with Tornado, we were definitely really excited about the idea that there was a card that was pitched that's an alteration.
Yeah. And that was it. That was it about Tornado. I'm gonna go off on Tornado since my wife pitched it. I did not vote for Tornado. It was you, the community, who voted for my wife's card. think I spoiled who
Yep,
won.
yep. I feel like you did. All right, well, let's just jump to it. You can see who I voted for. I'm not gonna hide that. No, it's really interesting that the community voted for Tornado. For everyone who voted for it, I'd love to get your feedback on what you saw. Is there something that we're missing? Because again, one of the biggest issues I haven't played competitive in a very long time. I play casual, and in the casual sense, Tornado seems like a really cool concept. Multiplayer, Tornado seems like it would be so much fun to play.
Yeah.
But when I think of like a stable, competitive, or draft card, I'm definitely looking more at frontline healer. That being said, I don't want the people who voted on Tornado to feel bad. You voted
I
for the
do.
you voted for the card that you think works best for the game, and we're going to.
No, I just didn't want my wife to win. You're mistaken what I'm saying here.
I gotta have a call with her, and but so Tornado. Let me pull it up on screen, a little bit more of a zoomed in version of it. Now that it's in, we have no choice, Alex. It's in. It's in.
It's in.
What are you looking at when it comes to design here? Like, is there a way to build a deck around this, or is this something you want to try building around?
So, my weird first go-to when I think of Tornado is how can I get Quicksand and Tornado onto the same spot?
Ooh.
That is actually where my thought went to.
Interesting. I didn't think Quicksand. I actually thought Inferno Pits.
That's a one-time thing. I want them to stay there and just keep getting hit by that tornado.
Well, that's the thing. If they get pulled onto a tornado, they get hit two by Inferno Pits, then they get hit another 2 from the tornado effect if they're champion, 3 more if they're summon. So that combo is hitting for 5 to summons and 4 to champions. That's a decent amount for cards that
True.
balance each other on the chi cycle too.
That's very true. That's very true.
Stampeding Force. How would Night Angel? How would Stampeding Force work with Tornado? Or
well, so no, it does. He's right. He's right. So if you have a bunch of Stampeding Force, oh wait, is Stampeding Force when you move?
yes.
Oh, it's only when you move.
Yeah.
So I see what he's thinking. So if you have a bunch of Stampeding Force, you all go on to Tornado, and then you step on everybody.
Yeah.
But it's still also if you can give yourself a way to move on to Tornado yourself, you can get all your enemies onto that one spot and then Stampeding Force on there.
Yeah.
And then actually, if you move off, the tornado itself will bring you back on for a little bit of protection.
I think this would also be a fun disruptive card.
Yeah.
And then at the end of each turn, it pulls things in. So this is a card that I think is going to be fun to play. How do I put this? Like, it gives you an opportunity to mess with your opponent's strategy, with their plan, right? If they are doing something like this, could actually tailor into a low tier meteorite.
Yes. Yeah.
If you don't want to spend a lot of resources, is there any? Oh, Sandstorm.
Yeah.
If you could pull a bunch of things onto the same spot and then hit them with the Sandstorm, that would hurt. And then you also need to think of like, you can line up things like Bolt Shot. If you can pull a lot of things into the same area and just Bolt Shot them all. So there's a lot of value, I think, in the pull mechanic. The tornado mechanic itself, it's a nice add-on.
Yeah. I just see all the mistakes I made while writing this card, like that Swift trigger at the bottom.
Yeah. Don't worry, things will be cleaned up when we actually bring them to print. But I actually think there's a decent amount of play space for this. Now, should we... I feel like we should call Colette out about this. Colette doesn't play Genesis. But she did mention that the idea for this did come from listening to a lot of people play and understanding kind of what their desires were for the game. So even if she doesn't play, she still has a good sense of what the community would like. And clearly she does, because she won this one. Like, that was a pretty big swing in the Tornado's favor there. Because comparing to J. Lara, I think that was like neck and neck. 7-5,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So this
Yeah.
one's 7-4. It's a little bit more of a swing for Tornado, especially since we know
Right.
2 of the votes are from me and Alex for frontline healer. All right. Are we good to move on to?
Yeah, I just want to give John Miller's comment here. He said, "Put the trap library down. Forces discard. Stack them up. Pull them off of it."
Now, yeah, traps could definitely be advantageous here. Like if I'm looking at, I know Spike Pit doesn't see a lot of love. We all got a good sense why, but there are pieces to the puzzle that are coming out in later sets that I think traps with Tornado could actually be very advantageous.
Yeah, I agree.
So maybe we were
maybe
too
alteration
quick to judge Tornado there. All right, so jumping into Thymos, we got Unicorn versus Inspiration.
Inspiration.
So, Inspiration, immediate, execute, exert. Look at the top card of your library. You may put it to the bottom of your timeline, then draw a card. Yeah, there was definitely a conversation that was had when we figured out that these two were going to be the winners, like coming to Patreon, and the design team.
We had words.
We had words.
We had an error.
Cool thing about Unicorn, this is actually a reprint from the last pitch contest, right?
Yeah.
Unicorn saw life again, so that's now for J. Lara. We saw Divine Blast, right? That was.
From... the returns, yeah.
Yep, that
returned.
Returns.
Yeah.
Unicorn returned. I think there's another one that returned, one of the Chaos ones.
Conjecture returned.
Oh, okay. So there's a fair number, which is really cool. I love the fact that these ideas returned and that they got the space to compete again and show that these designers are still on the top echelon of the players. So a lot of kudos to Sean for bringing this back. All right,
For
so
sure.
Reveal winner. Is there anything you want to say before we do
that? No, we're good to reveal winner.
All right.
Then I'll badmouth them like I normally do.
Mesmerizing Unicorn takes it over Inspiration 7-4. Same winning streak as Tornado had. So let's talk about Inspiration for a second. So this one got into the Patreon round, and then I remember sitting down talking to Brad and Alex and being like, yeah, Inspiration is a bit of an issue because the immediate speed is not a
activated ability.
It's not an activated one, right? It's not
it's
the
a
same
trigger
as Swift or Action. It's a trigger. So that means you can't actually have a card with an immediate speed and an exert cost. Those two things cannot exist on a card. So if this card had one, we would have had to switch it to Swift, and then the card doesn't have the same ring to it.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was surprised that for 6 chi, that all it really does at the end of the day is card cycle. It made it all the way to Patreon.
People like draw at the end of the day. That's what it is.
So it goes to, I guess, in that same vein, it goes to show how desperately players want to see some draw in Thymos. Gives us something to think about for future sets, right? All right, Unicorn. Let's talk about that. What are your feelings towards this card? Are you like? Is there anything in particular you want to test with it? Any strategies?
So testing for this is more about the balancing. So immediately that crosses my mind that I think might need to be fixed. It says they cannot activate abilities, and I think that might be too open-ended. So it's definitely gonna come down to testing. It becomes how much is not activating abilities. Specifically, so what I'm talking about is if you go into Unicorn's awareness, you can no longer beckon things because they do not target the Unicorn.
Yes.
So that's where I'm saying
that's true.
The balance needs to be found.
There are a lot of things that kind of get stifled, especially when you're thinking about there are a lot of cards that allow you to Swift speed toss Unicorn into someone, toss someone into or move unicorn in such a way that someone's randomly within that awareness.
Yes. Yeah. But the advantage there is if an ability is already on the stack and then unicorn gets into the way, it won't fizzle anything.
Yes.
So it stops them from activating.
Yeah.
But it just there's certain things we want it to stop, and I think there's things we don't want it to stop. And beckoning is probably one of them. If you somehow, because it could be let's just turn 1 unicorn blink shards.
Blink shards? Why are you using blink?
Stop blink. Oh, because nobody wants to play the other one. The other one's bad.
Tempo relocate. Come on.
Relocation. I mean, right in front of the opponent. They officially now cannot move 1 step and play a summon on turn 1.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have to kill the unicorn first.
Yeah.
My other thing to this, and I know this is contrary to what the designer wanted, what you wanted, but I am not a huge fan of that awareness. And
I'm not saying I want that awareness.
Okay. Like, part of my reason, and anyone who's, I talk about this quite a bit. Everyone, well, not everyone, but a lot of players who play the game, they are always asking for cards with more awareness, larger awarenesses. They hate being stifled into just having that forward spot. However, the more cards you create that have the larger awareness, the less relevant the tactical element of the game becomes. And this is one of those cards that I feel like could be just as productive, just as powerful, being front, left, right. It doesn't need to have those 2 angle slots. Or just the front awareness and take away the sides.
Yeah,
you don't need to have all 5 slots. You just need
I think I would do the front awareness, personally.
Yeah. And then on top of that, having the front awareness and a swift attack. This is action, but I'm assuming because this is a basic attack, it should be swift. It definitely adds a lot of value to that summon. Because there aren't a whole lot of summons. The only 2 that I know of have the front awareness, Guardian and Gorilla.
Angry Monkey. Yep.
Angry Monkey.
Angry
Those are both action speed. So
yes, it's true.
Having Swift definitely will add a lot of value. And 5 health. Like, it could be a very useful summon. It doesn't need to be that pushed. And then that way the cost of it can drop as well.
Yes. Yeah.
All right.
I agree.
Besides that, like, I don't see any deck that's gonna get there's no synergy I can think of off the top of my head. It's just a good summon to have.
For sure.
I see it more in a Titan stack that can provide a lot of value. Like an Idris Titan stack could definitely get a lot of value out of this.
Yeah, I agree.
All right. What about an alteration? What do you mean by that, Steve? And a Night Angel, front swift. That's where I'm resting on this, and we'll let the Future Leaguers kind of test it. I know you're part of the Future League, so test it and give us your input about it. I think a lot of these should be ready for Future League this week, right, Alex?
Yeah. For pretty much for this week, it's just gonna be straight up what this template that is we're seeing right now is just gonna be going up. So a little note for everybody else. I'm going away on vacation for 4 days, so I'm not adding any more. Doing a little work on that, unfortunately.
John Miller, Tornado plus Unicorn can be an issue, actually. So if Tornado locks you into a particular spot, so you can't leave there, and then Unicorn makes it that you can't play any things that don't target Unicorn, and Unicorn is at an angle with that champion, it's gonna be really hard for that champion to kill.
So the thing is, Tornado doesn't lock you in place.
No, but if you combine Tornado with something like Quicksand.
Sure. There's arguments a lot of the time where people are like, if I can do this 3-piece combo perfectly and set it up, yes, I agree. If you can do that,
I mean,
I'm beating on you.
Not even that. Like, just to make it a little bit cleaner, even just unicorns and fortifications could cause quite a bit of grief, just because of the angle awareness.
Yeah.
Because then you can't target the fortifications, and the unicorn's still just attacking you. So testing it is gonna be interesting.
Yeah.
All right. Shall we get into Axe? Should we do Axe on last?
Yes, we should do Axe on last, probably.
Okay. There's a particular reason. You'll see why. You'll see. All right. right, jumping into Phage. Felled Specters? Oh, what does it own? Felled Specters of what? Just apostrophe S. I'm just laughing about that. And then versus Electric Lance. So Felled Spectre, we got the summon. Cast deals 3 damage to target its awareness. And if it's a summon, they gain decay. And then it has a trigger when a summon with decay dies. Place a Skeleton Warrior, which is a 1 health, 1 attack summon from your subconscious on the spot where the summon was killed, facing the same direction as Felled Spectre, and exert it. And then Electric Lance, it has that Giant Scorpion awareness, dealing 3 damage to a target in its awareness, and then champions who summon dealt damage by Electric Lance cannot move this round. Any initial comments before we show the winner?
One thing I didn't actually notice about Electric Lance till I made this card. Did we notice that it was a spell that cost all energy?
Ah.
We never noticed that. I just slid by and did it.
Probably need to be changed. Something that was actually really interesting, for the fact that Phage isn't super well known, it was cool how on point a lot of the submissions were for Phage.
Yeah, I would say most of the Phage submissions were more on point than the rest.
I actually think more people know more about Phage than any other affiliation because of the fact that it's not in the game. So they just get a little obsessed with it. They need to know. Yeah, both really cool abilities. Should we just jump into the winner?
Yeah, let's jump into the winner.
The winner is Felled Spectre by 1 vote. Felled Spectre takes that win. You can tell I voted for it, so let's say I'm the reason why Felled Spectre won. All right, so let's pull that up on screen.
So my one sadness and only sadness about Felled Spectre is I would have loved to give it more support in a set where it's coming in, but that doesn't make it bad. It just means this is a nice tool for pass cards.
Yeah, I love the idea that it's taking a lot of pass cards that people neglected for a long period of time and giving them a new lease on life.
Yeah.
The zombies from the previous set, and then was there anything else? I think those were the 2 that had decay that people.
Yeah, mostly just zombies with decay.
But it also gives us more space to design things with decay.
For sure.
John Miller saying, I think the flavor was better explained in Phage than the others.
It's possible. Definitely possible.
I think it's better explained because people asked more questions. People don't ask me what is Bellum about or what's Axon about. There's a desire for like some debrief explanation of all of them, but like no one's actually sat me down to say, can you dig into Axon a little bit more? But when Phage happened, everyone was asking a lot of questions about like, oh, explain what Phage is about. What is this idea? And we just talked about it more. All right, so the stat-wise, I think is really cool. I love the fact that the designer here went with that forward awareness. Keep it simple because it gives you a lot more space to make a more powerful card. If you put all your points into the awareness, you can't deal as much damage. You can't do as much stuff in general. Are we confident about the spec and price? 19 aura?
Are we confident? I'm never confident. I'm constantly checking the formula.
But around that price, I'm pretty happy with that creature because you're getting a lot more out of it than something like Giant Scorpion, for example, which is 14 aura, 4 health, 3 attack. It has nice awareness. Most of your aura is going towards that awareness than you are towards the stats.
Yeah.
This can do a lot more, and it can create a synergy. It can create a theme deck of you got the Skeleton Warriors. If you're playing Phage Chaos, you got Call to the Bones, so you can create this army sense. And then you can have a lot of these really, really cheap summons that are your opponent just they don't want to waste a resource on something that's killing itself.
Yeah.
But then once they do kill it, they still have to deal with another Skeleton Warrior. I think this is gonna be really cool. I think the only thing you're really missing from there now, Felled Spectre would be really cool in Core if Core had access to it.
Yes. Yeah. That would have been really good. Yeah.
I think that's pushing the card a little bit too much. No, I love this. I think this was one of the ones that you and I called at the very beginning, being like, this is the one card we really want to see win this.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah,
and even though we did cast our votes are still just 1, 2 versus the
yeah.
mini, right? So you can see from Bellum, for example, we cast our votes in the opposite direction and lost, right? So at the end of the day, it isn't just us. And I love that the community, we all saw the same vision on that. So that was really cool. Congrats to getting Felt Spectre pushed through. All right, on to Chaos.
On to Chaos.
All right, so the two that are going up, Rewind, spell cast negate all abilities on the stack played by target champion or summon in Rewind's awareness. And then versus Indomitable Challenger, 5 health, 6 aura, the 6 G, front awareness, range attack 3, and then Challenger can only be targeted by champions or summons in its awareness. It has a very similar feeling to Unicorn, but definitely does something very different.
Yeah.
So the one thing I definitely want to say about the Chaos cards, so all these cards that are winning are going into Origins. Origins, every affiliation has a theme that we're working on. Chaos's theme was very abstract. I won't say what it actually is, but essentially Chaos's theme is chaos. It wants to do things chaotically. All the pitches for Chaos, I think, fit that description beautifully. And these two that went up there, I think, did a great job amplifying really what we wanted the theme for Chaos to be. So I am very grateful that that happened the way it did. Anything you want to say about these?
No, I don't really have any funny stories for these two.
All right, let's jump into the winner then. The winner is Rewind with 8 votes. I think this was the most landslide win here, because all the other ones were 7-4. This is 8-3. A lot of people liked Rewind.
Ooh, actually, I do have a story.
Okay.
I do have a story. It's actually prior to becoming before these two came in, another contestant talked to me about their pitch card. And I think they pulled their vote away from their card to go to Rewind. Because they're like, I think Rewind will be better for the game.
So instantly, my first feeling behind Rewind is this is supposed to be the anti-OTK moment. Your opponent builds a nasty stack, and you're just like, nope, we're undoing everything there. And all my abilities are still staying on, which is definitely painful. The awareness on this is really well placed. It's not over and beyond. And then another thing that's really cool about this is that it also targets summons. There aren't a lot of things that negate abilities summons are playing. And it definitely adds a lot of value in that sense.
For sure. Negating an angel attack, saving you 6 life.
Yeah.
Could win you the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or negating a Revenge of the Phoenix.
That's true too. Yeah.
I think this is gonna be, it's not gonna be a staple in every Chaos deck, but I definitely see this adding a lot of value in particular Chaos decks, like Kendra Control. It's gonna hold a lot of, especially if you're playing Malfeasance Kendra Control, because it's just so nice being able to drop that Malfeasance. Your opponent tries to get out of it. You counter, you ruin their first plan, so they put the second plan on the stack, and you're like, no, let's just get rid of all of those. And make Malfeasance function. So if you can combo all those up, I would be very impressed. Darren, yes, it does mean you won twice. Congrats. It does show how well of a grasp you have, not just on the game, but also the community and the community's desire of where they want to push the game towards. So take that as a huge win. Congrats on that. And then John Miller, no, Dead Man's Gambit. Was Dead Man's Gambit the other card you were talking about?
Dead Man Gambit was in the top 6. No, to the top 5. No, it wasn't the card I was talking about. I'm not gonna call them out because
Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, Dead Man's Gambit, I don't think made its way to Chaos, did it? Yeah, it
No,
was.
it did. Yeah, it did.
Yeah, it made it in
Yeah,
the
it did.
top 5. It didn't make it in the top 2.
Top 2, correct. Yes.
So really cool to see Rewind come in. It's gonna be interesting trying to get the artwork for a lot of these cards, because they're going into.
Well, that's the thing though to remember is the flavor that you may have put on your card is not necessarily the flavor we will give you, though.
Yeah, and I would very much recommend to trust Alex and the direction he's pushing things through, because not spoiling everything for Origins, but at the same time giving you some leniency. It's a fine line to walk. All right.
So when I changed Rewind to Oopsie Daisy, it's going to be perfect. Trust me.
Don't worry, I have some veto power. All right, let's get back to Axon. All right, so Axon, the 2 options, Conjecture Proteus and Sapper. Anything we want to say before jumping into this?
Like always, it's JC's fault.
It's always JC's fault. It's always JC's fault.
fault.
All right, let's show the winner. It was a tie. And let alone was it a tie on this end. I voted for Conjecture, and Alex voted for Sapper. So, even between the 2 of us, we couldn't decide which one to move forward with. And I know Jeffrey's watching. I don't know if Shahan's watching. We had a lot of back and forth on which one to move forward with. I'm a huge fan of Conjecture. I think it very much deserves to show, go through playtesting, go through Future League. It definitely has the potential of being a really cool, unique card and a way to show that Genesis is not like other TCGs. And I think about that a lot because a lot of people want to compare Genesis to Magic, to Pokemon, to Yu-Gi-Oh, all those other games, and say if those games can't do something, we shouldn't even do it. And the fact that Magic has the card Fact or Fiction that saw a lot of controversy around it, and Conjecture is very similar to Fact or Fiction, but I think it's perfectly fine in Genesis, but but it doesn't work well in Magic. Can show depth and complexity in Genesis, right? And then for me to go on my rant about Sapper, there's a lot of value add in making a creature that is very simplistic but very techy, have a lot of domain space it can cover, be very cheap, and do something that other summons can't. It's basically just a range attack 2. It just exerts the summon. Like, it's a very, very clean card, and it gives Axon a niche space that a lot of other affiliations can't walk into. And I say that, and the back of my mind knows that some people are going to be yelling at me saying Axon has too many niche spaces. But my point is just, this is a really cool summon to have in the game, and it shows something, again, that Genesis can do that a lot of other games can't do. What are your thoughts about these 2 cards before announcing how we move forward from this tie?
I have things to say, but I think it's better to explain them after we give the results, or the reason why I decided to push for the one we did.
So, okay, then let's get into it. I'm going to give the long-winded speech of why we're moving forward with Sapper. So, Conjecture Proteus, like I said, it's a really, really cool card, but there's so much risk that's added when adding a card like this. We saw it with Epiphany. We saw it with Foresight of the Ancient. I know that doesn't see as much play, but every time we try to add a card into the game that gave a lot of draw, it created a very difficult niche space to play in. It created an opportunity for OTKs to be a lot more powerful, for people not in Axon to have a lot of drawbacks. It just gave too much favor to Axon. This card, if we wanted to move forward with it, we needed a lot of time to test it. And the big issue here is that we need Origins to come out. We have a plan for this year, and we do not have a lot of time to test it. I would have pushed for this so much more if we had months to test it. But the fact is, I don't think we have that much time to test it properly to make sure all of the edge cases are removed and that the card is fair. We have the right costing for it, and it's not just gonna make the Rain OTK way more powerful.
Yeah.
So that's my perspective of why. Though I love Conjecture, I voted for it. I'm the one who I'm part of the thing that created a tie here. I have to go with the safer bet and move with Sapper. It will need much less testing in Future League, in my opinion.
I want to give Jeffrey's comment. He's like, yeah, mostly you're moving forward with Sapper because I'll keep bringing Conjecture back over and over again.
And I really want you to, because I want it in this game. I do. I think it's an amazing card. You won me with calling it Conjecture Proteus, because as I mentioned, an old champion I had designed was named Proteus. I think it's a great card, but I just don't think the timing is right for it right now. That's my perspective.
Okay. All right. So the reason why I went to push Sapper over Proteus is actually, the reason I guess I didn't even tell you. So when I was looking at picking cards, I also looked at the champions coming into the set yes. and who could use them. And this card itself, being so cheap and simplistic, is a great tool for multiple champions. Now, Conjecture, don't get me wrong, is just going to be great because it's card draw and not because of its design or anything like that. So that's not the issue, but within this set, giving that one piece Sapper to these champions is going to elevate those champions and give them more different play styles.
That's definitely one of the big advantages we have here, is that we get to know what the future of the game looks like, where the people who are pitching these ideas don't know all the future steps, right? So I am really, really grateful that you thought about those things, Alex, because that wasn't what was on my mind. My mind was, I remember what happened with Epiphany, and if a card similar to that was going to get printed again, with Epiphany still in meta, still being playable, I needed to give it a lot more thought before moving forward with it, and it just wasn't the right timing.
Yeah,
so, yeah. Balance. Too much card draw, not enough card draw. We need to meet in the middle and start in-game creating cards. Yeah, I like the pitch contest because I think it does give a lot of control to the people who are playing very regularly to help steer the game into a more healthy space. And the one thing I actually really like about Sapper is it gives an opportunity for Axon to mitigate some of those bigger Titan decks. I see it a lot more of like, if this can just be a nuisance to the Angel or a Lightless or anything like that, then I'm up for it, because the Titan decks can become very annoying if you don't have a good balancer to deal with them.
For sure.
All right, so those are our 6 winners. Congrats to everyone. So Pixie, Tornado, Unicorn. Yep, Unicorn, Sapper. Then we got Feld Spectre and Rewind. Great cards. I'm super excited to see how Future League's gonna look, and how this is gonna change a lot of what we see in meta. And I hope everyone's also excited to see all the people who won get to see their name printed on cards as the designer, not just contributor to flavor text. Yeah, any last thoughts about these 6 cards?
No, I'm just ready for the next step. If you are part of Future League, make sure you're there on Friday to test them out.
Yes.
And that's the truth. If you won and you want to have more say within your card as it goes forward, you need to be participating. It's true.
Yeah, I think I know a lot of people are hesitant in Future League because of the idea of spoilers or being put in either unfair advantage or disadvantage. I know some people who are not participating in Future League because they think it's gonna give them too much advantage in a competitive scene, and they want to give their opponents more of a chance. At the end of the day, I respect everyone's opinion, and I respect if that's your stance on it, but we need the community to help make the game healthier. Uh,
Yeah.
I trust Alex so much in his card design process. I have a big vision for this game beyond just one set, but I'm looking at things way too high, and Alex gets tunnel vision at times. We need to get the community to help bring us back to that good middle place. And that's why I'm so grateful to Future League. I'm so grateful to Meta Mondays. The fact that Will just took on that initiative. I don't know how I can show more gratitude to him. He does so much. I think I also need to sit with Will and try to figure out a way to make that thing more supported from the community and from the company. So Will, if you're watching, let's have a chat at some point. And then, yeah, I think that's everything for this month's card pitch contest. What are the next step for the card pitch contest? Do you want to talk about that?
So next step is immediately Future League. We don't have much time, but immediately Future League.
Yes.
If Steve's watching, he came in at some point.
Yep.
I don't know where he is now. Literally grab the images off the website from the winners and throw them into Future League for me. I'm gonna message him too. I don't know why I'm using this platform right now. Yeah, and then from there, as soon as that starts going, we'll start tweaking it on the back end.
Yeah.
And then as testing goes, and we find the flaws or the boons or what needs buffed here and there, that's where we're gonna go next.
And if you're part of Future League, or even if you're not, and you don't know what the future cards are, but you still know the current card base, let us know if you're starting to see any combos that might make the game unhealthy. Don't give us your combos if you're like, this is going to be a cool strategy, but it's not going to break the game. It's just going to make a cool deck, like Tornado and Quicksand. That's fine. But you can still share that with the Future Leaguers and let them test it on their end and give you feedback. If you have a deck idea that you want to use these cards for, let us play test it and see how well it works before it kind of breaks the game.
Yeah.
That's the last thing we want. We don't want to have to ban your cards that you put into the game, right? That would be the worst. I feel so bad about that. All right. The next pitch contest. As you can tell, we did not set anything up for June because there's other things coming in June. We have the next 4 weeks of exploring the libraries planned. We got some really, really cool topics. I think next week we are talking. Let me just switch screens here. Next week we're talking about. Let me double check.
I don't know. You wrote them down.
I know, right?
I know you'll take care of it.
I'm happy you have trust in me.
I'm not saying I have trust in you. I just know that when we get here on Tuesday night, we will wing it if we don't have anything.
Yeah. So next week we're talking about the 4.0 rulebook, the changes that are happening between 3.0 and 4.0, when the 4.0 is going to launch, and reasons to be excited about it. There's a lot of cool things I think are being added into the rulebook that people should be hyped for. There's some other cool stuff that's coming out on the 15th, 22nd, and 29th. I might as well let people know, right? So on the 15th, we are going to be revealing what's in the 2-player versus deck for 2nd edition. And I think this is going to be really, really cool. I think a lot of people are going to be really excited about it. It's a great product, and I like the perspective we took. It is gonna have more in it than you expect it to have. So let's put it that way. On the 22nd, we're gonna be talking about some of the rarity shifts that are happening in 2nd edition. As you can tell, we're slowly hyping things up for 2nd edition. Just some of the cards that are going up in rarity, and some of the cards that are going down, and why we made those changes. And then on the 29th, we're hoping if everything lines up the way we're expecting, we want to start talking about some of our plans for organized play and what the
Yeah.
future of organized play looks like for Genesis. And then I think one of the last things we want to show before we kind of wrap this up is I'm going to put this image up on the screen. We are doing a pre-order promo for second edition. So more details are going to be coming out to your retail stores, but I'm giving you the first look at this. Any stores that put in their pre-orders in for second edition before the end of the month, they're going to get a promo alternate art Brook card. So make sure you talk to your retail stores about getting those pre-orders in as soon as possible. And if there's any complications, you reach out to us and we'll help
Yeah.
you work those out.
Literally, just go like this. Say, I want to pre-order a box of second edition, so I get that pre-order promo.
Yeah.
That's it. That's literally your statement to your store should be. And then if your store goes no, go to another store. not necessarily physically go. Just contact another store, being like, I want that Baroque promo.
Yeah. So as I said, I haven't actually like the distribution cycle is in place for this, but like we haven't even fully announced that to the retail stores. So that will be happening in very, very soon for that. So if your retail store is like, I have no idea what you're talking about, just tell them that the newsletter is coming soon. And if they're not part of our mailing list, make sure you tell them to reach out to us and become part of our mailing list so that they can get you those pre-order stuff. So Alex, I think you just got a lot of requests for some pre-order boxes.
I know.
So that's everything.
I said you gotta talk to the store. I am not a store. I'm a person. I'm a human being.
He has feelings and emotions. So those are all things that are happening over the next little while. I hope everyone is happy, excited, grateful for the ones who won. And if you didn't win, you're so excited about the fact that you know the game well enough to have gotten to that point. I can tell you so many card ideas that the game design team has pitched to me, and I just instantly rejected. I'm like, no, that doesn't work for this game. So be happy that you got that far. I'm very grateful for everyone who participated, and I'm excited to see what the future has in store for us. All right, is that everything for this week?
That's everything.
Are we ending early?
Sure.
I guess we're ending early.
Did you want to show a trailer or something, or was that for a different day?
I think we'll hold off on the trailer for a little bit. Let's.
Oh, okay. We'll just tease that right now.
Yeah.
All right. You guys do not get to see the super secret video we had ready for you.
We're teasing the teaser. We're terrible people. All right. I think that's everything for this week. Thank you, everyone who came. We had quite a few viewers in that midpoint. I think they started trailing off once we announced who the winners were. So everyone who stuck around, you got to see the cool promo. Also, like, just kind of a backstory about that artwork for Brooke. I don't know. We shouldn't have reservations of like telling people behind the scenes stuff, right? Especially people who like stuck around to the end, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So anyone who's here, you get a little bit more information. Originally, Brooke was supposed to show up in Origins, but that was the original plan back when I started designing Origins last year. But a lot of things got shifted because of COVID. We had a lot more time to work on Raze. Then we realized, let's actually clean up the storyline for Origins. And as we started cleaning up the storyline, we realized Brooke doesn't make sense in the set anymore. But we already commissioned the artwork, so we're trying to figure out how to use this artwork. And I was like, you know what? I think it would be really, really great to throw that as the pre-order promo for the set. So that's how that came about. It was just luck. But I think people are going to enjoy it. Brooke's an awesome card.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know Will's always that says he needs more Brooks. And Will's got a massive collection.
Yeah. I think that's going to be definitely... There aren't a whole lot of, like, new artworks coming out for second edition. There are some, but not a whole lot. Just because of timeline and budget and things like that, we wanted to actually put more of our budget into Origins compared to second edition. But we did... Brooke's definitely one of those pieces that is getting new artwork. There is There's definitely some cards that are getting new artwork that I'm really excited about. Uh, um, oh, yeah, that's a different Darren. That Darren is from well, I'm not gonna say where, but um,
Let me tell you everything about them. The
yeah,
social insurance
this
numbers.
this is where they live. This is their career. No, but it was really cool because actually when they signed up, I actually thought it was you, the Darren in the chat, and I was about to message you about it. It's like, nope, that's not the same person. All right, we rambled enough times. All right, thank you again, everyone who joined, and we will chat with you next week. And don't forget, I got my show on Friday. I'm talking about testing. So if you're into testing, want to know why I designed Future League the way I did, come join on Friday. And then Future League Friday, where you're going to start playtesting with some of these cards, which is really cool. Did the other one make its way into Future League? In case it's don't?
Yes, it's there.
Okay. So a lot of cool things to playtest with. And then what else is happening? Yeah, I think besides that, next Monday, Meta Monday. If you haven't read the new chapter, read the new chapter. Raze is gonna be awesome. I'm really looking forward to the storyline for Raze. Yeah, that's everything. All right, I'm gonna stop talking now. All right, bye.